All right. Hello, everyone. People are just jumping on here. And we'll get the screen shared. Okay. Hope everybody is having a good Monday. I had a great weekend. I had a good weekend, except for our air conditioner went out. So it was very hot. And hopefully it's getting fixed today because not escaping the heat can be miserable. But I hope you guys all had a good weekend. All right. Let's get going. So just a reminder of the weekly lineup of Zoom calls. So we've added the Zoom call on Mondays. So noon Central Standard Time, obviously with me. And then Tuesdays. So if you have not had a binder review and you have your binder contents, you certainly can jump on to the Tuesday 11 a.m. Central Standard Time binder review call. And then we have Wednesdays, Dr. Connor's typical Zoom call Wednesdays, 4 p.m. And then Thursdays, if you have not had your genetic review and you have received all of your genetic information that we have emailed you, you can jump on to the Thursday genetic review. And then again, just a reminder how to submit a question for these Zoom calls. So logging onto the membership page on on the top bar of every page, there's the blue button, submit a question. Most of you are familiar with that because you have submitted your questions, but if you're new, that is how you do it. So you just click that, brings up this box and you fill out your information and then you hit send and we'll get that. And that's the preferred way to ask your question for the Zoom call. Just keeps everything in one location so we have less digging to do and then we're more likely to not lose your question. All right, so we have a few things to go through. So somebody from last Wednesday's Zoom call sent a little Zoom call question saying they couldn't log into the Zoom call. So I apologize for that. Typically, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have the right time. So we are in Central Standard Time. So depending on where everyone is located, it might be a different time zone. So first, make sure you have the right time. If you're logging in at an incorrect time, you're obviously not going to be able to get on the call because it's not happening. And then I took a screenshot of this page here. So this is the Zoom call page that is in the membership site. So the best way to just join the call is to log into the membership site, click on the tab that says for Zoom calls. You can even, once you've clicked on that tab, this is the URL. You could even save this or bookmark this URL, ends in Zoom, so that when it's time for a Zoom call, you can click on that. You still will have to log in to the membership site, but it'll bring you right to the Zoom call page. And then these buttons down here, so you can just click this button to join the Zoom call directly. So this one is for Dr. Connor's Wednesday Zoom call, and this one is for the Monday Zoom call with me. So whichever one you're trying to get onto, just click that button. It should link you, and then you'll have access. So hopefully, I don't know why, if there's quirky things with people's computer or internet or what the deal is, there is a way to dial into a Zoom call. So if you don't want to connect through the computer, and I don't know what that number is right now, but certainly I can get that up and posted. If you email me, I can send it to you. So there is a way to just dial into the call where you don't have to use the computer, and you obviously then won't be able to see the screen, but you'll be able to hear the audio. So that is an option. Let me know if you need that phone number and I can send it to you. And then of course, always remember that there is a playback. So again, on the Zoom call page here, if you were to scroll down a little bit, you would have the playback. So the recording of the most recent Zoom call, and then you have access to all of the previously recorded Zoom calls so you can go through those. And I do believe now that there is separate tabs you can click on. So a tab for all of Dr. Connor's Zoom calls, and then there is a tab for my Zoom calls. So utilize that. That's the best way to jump on. All right, so question here. Detox Rife programs. Do these programs actually eliminate toxins, or how does a person get detoxed using the Rife? It seems like the toxins would recirculate, but I don't know much about the Rife. So with detoxing and using the Rife, so it kind of depends on what program you're running. If you're using the bulb, there's a number of different detoxification programs for bulb use, and those are generally stimulating the organs of detoxification. So so it's helping in a broad sense to stimulate those organs to optimize their function to better help you detox. There might be a specific program, specific for heavy metals, or so it's maybe targeting the frequencies a little bit differently depending on what you're trying to detox. But in general, the bulb is stimulating those organs to help them work better and to help overall detox. If you're using a foot bath, there's that same concept, overall support. Might be some different frequencies that you can get through the foot bath for detoxing, but there's also the drawing out of the toxins component that you get from the foot bath. So you're actually pulling toxins from the body. It's part of the reason why the water gets so murky. So they operate similarly, but the foot bath has a little extra drying out component. Now, certainly, as far as recirculation is concerned, if we're doing a bunch of detoxing, we do want to make sure that we are supporting all phases of detox, because otherwise, you're right, then we could recirculate these toxins that our body is working so hard to get packaged up to be excreted. And so if you're constipated, that is an issue. You could be recycling toxins. So Dr. Connor's book, I did a little screenshot here of Dr. Connor's book, The 7 Phases of Detoxification, walks you through kind of each stage. So making sure you're not constipated. So doing coffee enemas or taking some supplements, magnesium to help with constipation, because we need to be eliminating what your body is working hard to get rid of. Making sure you're drinking enough water so you're staying hydrated, so you're eliminating through your urine as well. Gut support, so making sure that we're doing what we can to eat clean, healthy, whole foods, so we're not disrupting the gut microbiome, we're not creating a leaky gut scenario. You can have binders. Binders help to pull toxins from the gut and eliminate them through waste. The Sun Spectrum has the prebiotic fiber, the probiotics. So in general, we need to have some good gut support. We need to support the liver. We need to support the gallbladder. All of these functions are important. So Dr. Connor's book, available for free download, goes into a lot more detail on supporting all phases of detoxification. So when we are running the detox programs, we are able to fully eliminate them. So take a look at that for more detail. All right, is chlorine dioxide something to consider? I was forwarded these articles on MMS. It can help with many diseases and pancreatic cancer is included. It's actually good for everyone to take, helps with uptake of more oxygen in the red blood cells. Also look up Jim Humble. He has all the research on his website about it. Link is below. You can buy the liquids on Amazon for under $40. Okay, so one of the things and the concerns with anything really that is claiming to be a cure-all is that nothing is a cure-all. And in this product, this MMS or chlorine dioxide, if you do that Google search, you do get a lot of claims stating that it is kind of this cure-all and that it helps with so many different things. And we do just need to be careful when anything is claiming to be a cure-all, because it's not necessarily true for everything. It might be great for some things, not so great for others. And then there's risk, if somebody takes too much, there is concern. So ultimately, we do not use chlorine dioxide. We don't recommend it. it certainly is something that is an oxidizing agent. So thinking about kind of the mechanism of action can be great for killing off pathogens, biotoxin, Lyme, certain bacteria, fungus, mold. So some of these biotoxins, it might be good at killing because it is an oxidizing agent, but just like any oxidizing agent, it can cause damage to healthy tissue if it's not used appropriately. So we always want to be cautious. Again, we don't use it in our protocols. Dr. Connors is just not convinced that it's, a super great cure-all for cancer. Again, maybe better for a biotoxin, but maybe not so great for cancer and potential side effects if it is not used correctly. So certainly everybody is entitled to do whatever they want. So, certainly if this is something that you really feel compelled to do, you certainly can. Just be careful and, let us know if you are doing this. You're going to start on a protocol, and just so we can document, have it in the notes here, and know that you're doing that. Okay, next question. Could you please chat about EMF safety, specifically the whole house EMF blocker versus the whole house harmonizer? If we have one of these, do we still need the Hedron cell phone sticker and or the harmonizer bracelet? Bob's bedroom has the modem, home computer, and the Rife laptop. Would the home EMF shield or the harmonizer protect him from these EMFs, or what should he do? It's all confusing to us as far as what products are really needed. Also, is there an EMF blocking paint you recommend? Okay, so EMF. So tons of information on the website about EMFs. So certainly I highlighted this little blog post here, cancer and EMF. So you certainly can visit that and look at information. So yes, EMFs are something that we want to minimize exposure to. They're pervasive in our, modernized world. We've got our cell phones on us all the time. We've got a laptop, we've got 5G towers going up everywhere. And so we're constantly exposed. So doing what we can to minimize exposure is very beneficial. There are studies that suggest EMF exposure can be linked to cancer. It absolutely increases mTOR. So I'm just going to go to this page. I'll go back to the question page. But so mTOR, so these are genetic pathways, and mTOR is a pathway that signals for growth. All of these things in yellow on the perimeter here are things that can stimulate mTOR. EMFs, cell towers are one of them. This is a genetic pathway that helps your body regulate and, kind of get rid of these harmful exposures. Some people have variants here, so some people are more sensitive than others. But certainly with all of this exposure that we're getting can increase glucose and insulin. We know that that stimulates mTOR or growth. Cancer cells obviously use glucose for growth. So we don't want to be stimulating mTOR. And all of these things that we're exposed to are constantly stimulating mTOR. So what we want to do is stimulate autophagy. And these things can't be going on at the same time, mTOR and autophagy. So we want to promote autophagy, that's cellular repair and cleanup. So this is the phase that we want patients to be in. You can support this by fasting, resveratrol, turmeric, and other tumor suppressor genes by addressing specific tumor suppressor genes that you might have variants on. We can use those tools to help support autophagy. So that's just a quick blurb about EMFs and cancer, and why we do need to address this because we are constantly being exposed. The differences between some of the EMF products, anything that is for the body is obviously for something that is to help protect the body, help protect the cells. So the harmonizer bracelet or any wearables are going to be different than like the EMF whole home blocker or the harmonizer. So we have available on our store a hardwired unit that you can attached to the electrical box. So it does require an electrician. So part of, kind of navigating what is necessary is just, well, what can you afford? And, what is, do you have a sensitivity? Do you have high EMF readings in your home? So those are things that can be tested. But as far as the whole house unit, again, so you're paying for an electrician to come out, and then it isn't cheap. It's around $1,300 for that to be attached to, or for the unit itself to be attached. So, but it is better than the plug-in units that are also an option. The plug-in units run around $300, and it's very simple. You get two in a set. You get two in a set with your purchase. You plug one into an electrical outlet that's associated with the right side of your electrical panel, and the other one into an outlet associated with the left side of the electrical panel. So it does create whole home protection. It states it protects up to about 3,000 square feet, and it does work to reduce the dirty electricity. Does reduce both of them, both the hardwired unit and the plugins reduce surges. You're reducing the dirty electricity, can save money because when you're reducing those surges that are put out by your electrical, the power, that can reduce, the dirty electricity and save money. But the difference is that these things are all geared towards your electricity that's coming from the power lines, hooked up to your house. So anything in your home that runs on electricity. So anything you have plugged in, those are going to be protected with either the hardwire unit or these plugins. If you want the best, then get the hardwired unit. If that's not in the budget, then certainly the plugins would be a great option. The wearables are not protecting the electricity that's coming into the house. It's just protecting your body. It's changing the frequency to protect your body. So a Hedron sticker that's on your cell phone, I would still do that because that's obviously not plugged in. The harmonizer bracelet, obviously, your body isn't plugged in. So those things I still would use. If you have a laptop that you use and you're not always plugging it in, I would use a sticker for your laptop as well. So just different options, different ways to help you, really just individual as to how much you want to spend, but certainly some of the things that we have close to us all the time, like your cell phone and your laptop, good to protect yourself with the Hedron stickers, and then certainly the home. If you're at home 24/7, you might want to invest in either one, depending on your budget, of those other units. So it can be confusing, but certainly protecting your body is in your best interest. Other things that are effective as well is filling the home with plants. So especially the room with the Wi-Fi router, plants help absorb some of that radiation. Going outside and grounding, so putting your feet on the earth, so dispersing those positive ions back into the earth so you're grounded. Those are all helpful and are pretty minimal in cost. So just some plants. And if you can move things out of the bedroom, so if it's possible to move the modem out of the bedroom, the Rife and the laptop. So the Rife is actually grounding you. So the photons that are emitted from the Rife are actually grounding. So you're not getting EMFs from the Rife bulb itself, but the laptop you potentially are getting some. So again, if you have a sticker on that, or you certainly can disconnect the laptop from the Rife machine, put it in a different room so you're not sleeping with it in your room. That can be helpful as well, but you're getting grounding frequencies from the Rife machine. All right. Next question, is there a human version of the dog dewormer? So really that would be something to address parasites. And there are a number of products that can address parasites. just to kind of list a few, we have Provermifuge, which is a popular one, all just, different herbs and things to help address parasites. There's GI Microbe X. We also have Paraclear. Artemisinin is something that can be used as well. So I would, if you just go on our web store and you type in parasite in the search bar, and you'll get a number of these products coming up. And so then it would just be kind of looking at them and determining what you think would be best for you. But that would be kind of the version of human form of the fenbendazole. All right, just how dangerous is the PET scan and the CT scan? Isn't there something I am supposed to take before and after that to detox? So PET scans and CT scans, so you are being exposed to radiation just in kind of different forms depending on the scan, but certainly to just kind of go back to all of these conversations we have about conventional care and determining whether or not to do a scan. So if the scan results would sway you one way or the other as far as the care that you are receiving, then certainly get one of these scans. Which one? Well, what is your doctor recommending? Have you had either of these scans before? So typically, if you've had a PET scan in the past, you would want to follow up with another PET scan if you're trying to track to see how things are going. Or if you've had a CT scan, then that would be what you want to do to compare. So we want to compare apples to apples, different technologies. And so some, I am not totally brushed up on, the details of which scan is better for which type of cancer, whether it's a soft tissue or a hard tissue. So you'll have to look that one up. But how dangerous are they? Well, I don't know. They both have risk. They both are exposing you to radiation. So I guess in the decision-making process, if you have decided you're going to get one of these and you're just trying to decide which one, well, then you just do the one that you've had in the past, or you would just do the one that the doctor is recommending to get the images that they want. And yes, we can do things to help you get rid of that exposure. So I don't know if one is more dangerous than the other. Bottom line is you're getting exposed. And so if you're going to do one or the other, just, I guess, like I said, pick what your doctor is recommending or based on what you've had in the past. We do have the homeopathic dropper for radiation exposure. So I would grab that for either of these scans and start on that. Maybe just start a week before your scan is scheduled and then just go through the entire bottle. The dosage is listed on the bottle. I believe it's 3 drops 2 times per day. So I would just continue that and then, try to do some other detoxing, whether it's doing some detoxing on the Rife machine, with your supplements, be really careful with diet, do some extra foot baths, some castor oil packs, coffee enemas, all of those things are going to help with detox. Okay, the difference in the Rife bulbs. Can I use my hammer bulb in place of the spiral or the QX2 bulb? So yes, you can use your hammer bulb with any of the programs that are designed for bulb use, no matter the bulb. So hammer bulb can be used even if they're recommending the QX2 or the spiral. The difference between them is, well, the hammer bulb is designed to be used at night. It's encased in that covering, protected with the styrofoam. So in case it falls out of the bed, in case it, is rolled over, the bulb itself is protected. Also, the light coming from the hammer bulb is more dim. It's more of that purple hue versus the brighter red light of the spiral bulb. And I'm not sure what the QX2 bulb. I'm assuming it's more of a red color. Maybe you can't really see that. So the hammer bulb is designed to be used at night. The spiral bulb is something that you can place, it's more concentrated. So if you're trying to treat, a dental infection, you can put that bulb on your skin right next to, your cheek. And so you're getting kind of a concentration in a smaller area. However, you could just put the hammer bulb close to your cheek. And then the QX2 bulb is something that is stronger. So sometimes patients invest in the QX2 bulb so they can use it during the day. If you're working from your home office, you can have the QX2 bulb set up, next to you or within a couple feet of you, and it's stronger. So the frequencies are filling more space in the room. So you don't have to have the bulb as close to you. So just different options, and one is not necessarily better than the other, but you can use a hammer bulb that you have anytime there's a reference to any of these bulbs. Good question. All right, at times the skin on my breast tumor is pinker than others. So that is pretty common. Typically when the tissue is pinking up, it could be, related to inflammation. So I guess my question would be, does it happen, can you track it to after you're doing something specific or after you're eating something specific? Sometimes the foods that we're eating, we may not have a digestive reaction to them, but we can have a more systemic reaction to them, creating some inflammation. So just kind of watch for that. If it's after a certain food, we could do some food sensitivity testing to eliminate some of those inflammatory triggers from foods. Could it be that, you just did, you took a hot shower or you did a sauna, or is it after a RIFE program? So those things all are, heat is going to increase circulation. It's going to, it can make the tissue seem more pink. Typically, we don't recommend heat over a breast tumor unless you're doing hyperthermia, so far infrared heat over a breast tumor. But a lot of times that pink tissue is just due to inflammation. So you could up your natural anti-inflammatories if you're taking anything with curcumin, with ginger, boswellia. So those are things that are natural anti-inflammatories. So you can increase some of those, or, like I said, just kind of pay attention to signs and symptoms of things that, if it's food related, activity related, those things can play a role. Was that it? Did we get through them all? I guess so. I had a couple blank ones here in case some last minute questions came in. Let's see from the chat. I wanted to run a headache program, but it looked like it used a bulb other than the hammer bulb. I was afraid to run the program on the hammer bulb. Would the hammer bulb work on a headache program? And on their programs that mention other devices, yes. So yep, you can use the hammer bulb for headache programs, and you can use the hammer bulb for any program, no matter what bulb they are talking about. The hammer bulb can be used. So yes. All right. Oh yes, is there a paint that protects against EMFs? Not that I know of. I don't know off the top of my head. There very well could be. They're coming out with more EMF protective products. I know that there's clothing that has EMF protection, but I'm not sure about paint. Sorry, you might have to just do a Google search on that. Okay, there is a large fish tank plugged in on the wall opposite of where Bob sleeps. Someone said for him to have the wall painted with an EMF blocker. Oh, interesting. His head is very close to the wall where the fish tank is. Yeah, you could. You could try to see if there is an EMF blocking paint. We do have Faraday fabric. So Faraday fabric. So we have Faraday cases for your phone, and it is a fabric that has silver woven into it, so it is an EMF blocker. So if you can't find a paint, possibly you could find a Faraday fabric that you could just kind of hang up on the wall where his headboard is to kind of block that from the opposite wall. So that would be an option, but certainly there might, like I said, there might be a paint. That would be really, really interesting. So yeah, you can try those things. Faraday, I believe it is spelled F-A-R-A-D-A-Y. Faraday. And that could be wrong. Spelling is not always my strongest characteristic, but I think that's how you spell it. And it's close enough to where if you put that in the search bar, I'm sure it would come up. But yeah, you can try that. All right. Any other questions for me? I don't see any other chat questions coming in. That took us through the Zoom submission questions. And then I did take some questions that I personally got in my email and put them on here just so those could be addressed as well. Okay, I've never had a PET scan, but my oncologist says it's imperative to see where all of this recurrence is located, as it would influence the treatment I need. Wouldn't you and Dr. Connors want to know as well if I don't do surgery or chemo? Well, certainly, you know, and it really is an individual choice. You know, with what we're doing here, we're using the Rife, we're using supplements, we're using nutrition, we're using genetics. So that is really our lane. And certainly if there's a recurrence, you know, we want to know, we want to do everything that we can to help you within our lane. And so whether or not you get a PET scan is really an individual choice, because there is risk involved. And then also we can't recommend it because it is going down that conventional path, and we do have to stay in our lane and create that boundary. And how, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the ethics behind it. You know, yes, there's risk, you know, it's not in our lane, but who are we to say that you should or should not get a conventional scan? It really is a personal decision. You have to do what's best for you. And yes, of course, we want to know, because we want to support you with everything that we can, with everything with the Rife machine, everything with diet, everything with, you know, your supplements, with genetics. And so those are the things that we can revisit. And we do that with the subsequent cheek swabs. So sending those in, and I know you just did a recent one. So, you know, we can do this monthly, you know, we can tweak the protocol, we can recheck things, but we have to stay in our lane. And so as far as getting a PET scan to determine every place that a recurrence is, or everything, you know, that's potentially lighting up, that is not necessarily information that we need to know to do what we do. But it would be information that an oncologist needs to know in order for them to give you direction on what they want you to do. So if chemo and radiation are something that you are considering, then certainly move forward with the doctor is suggesting and see what the results are. Based on those results, then you can make your decision. Maybe the results are going to be good, not what they expected. And then you have more peace of mind knowing that, okay, I'm staying the course, you know, with what we're doing here. But as far as us recommending it, you know, we can't say one way or the other. I thought with the protocol I've done in the last year that I wouldn't be able to grow another tumor. So that, you know, we cannot predict that. We have never made any claims that this is going to get rid of everyone's cancer. It's just not true. There's no single thing that is going to eradicate a body from cancer. We just cannot predict that. We don't know. So the Rife is a tool, just like everything else. Diet is a tool, supplements are a tool, genetics are a tool. So we're doing the best that we can with the tools that we have. You know, with the Rife machine, it's our #1 tool that we use to help, but there is no guarantee that it is going to get rid of everyone's cancer. There's no guarantee that it is going to prevent cancer coming back, but it is a tool that can be helpful. And, you know, there's no way to really determine, somebody's chiming in here, no way to determine, you know, how do you know that the Rife has not helped? Maybe something would have popped up sooner. Maybe it is preventing, you know, metastasis to other parts of the body. Maybe it is doing its job, and without the Rife, you would have been in a much worse position. There's just no way to know, no way to measure. You have to make your decisions. You have to understand, you know, what the role is, and then make your decisions and just have peace and know that ultimately all of this is within God's hands. And it's uneasy, it's unsettling, it's uncomfortable, but it is a challenge that, you know, people with a diagnosis have to face. And so you have to give it to God. Would you recommend zeolite, lanoprilite for detox? Oh, that was a typo. Zeolite, well, I don't know how to say that word, but zeolite, yes, zeolite is a binder that can help with detox. So can bind onto toxins within the gut and help eliminate them, hold on to them so your body's not recirculating those toxins, and then to help you eliminate that through your waste. So zeolite is definitely something that we use in the clinic. Can be a great option if you're looking to add a binder. Okay. Before we started with Connors, we had purchased Supports Healthy Cells Pathway 1, 2, 3, Oncoadjunct, Division Proliferation, Glucose Metabolism, Clearing Cell Cycle Modulation. We have pancreatic cancer. Are they good to take? Just off the cuff, I don't know anything about these products, so I'd have to look them up. So I can do that. And there's certain things that we look for in supplements, or supplements that, you know, patients come to us already taking, or they find an article and they, you know, are asking us if it's okay. There's certain things that we are looking for to make sure those products do not have. One of them would be methyl groups. Methyl groups are the #1 thing that can turn off tumor suppressor cells. Methyl groups attach to different sections of DNA, turn things off. So if we're supplementing with a large amount of methyl groups, we have more of a likelihood or a potential that we could be turning off tumor suppressor genes. So we take people off of methyl groups. If they come to us with supplements that have methyl groups in them, we look at the versions of vitamins. So a lot of times there's, you know, synthetic versions that aren't so great for you. So we prefer natural, you know, supplements that are not synthetic. So cyanocobalamin would be an example of a synthetic version of B12. We do not want you to use that. Another example would be folic acid. That is the synthetic version of folate, which is natural. So we want to give the body the natural forms of vitamins, not the synthetic forms. So we look to see those things. We also look to see if there's any iron or any copper. Those are things that can encourage blood vessel growth, fuel sources for cancer. So we don't want patients taking those as well. But I don't know specifically about these products that you listed. I will revisit them and take a look. Part of me thinks that you did have these listed on your intake form. So we might, Dr. Connors may have already looked those up. And if he didn't say anything, most likely they're okay. But again, I will double check and get back to you. I'll send you an email checking on those. All right, let's see here. Excuse me. Looking into the emotional roots of cancer diseases is good also. Braving the Storm by Megan Van Zyl. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that. So Megan Van Zyl is a local gal here who we've worked with, as far as, making connections, and Dr. Connors has done a couple of podcasts with her. We do have her information regarding her group support and her book in our binder. We just recently did a binder update, which I'm not sure if it's posted on the membership site yet or not. If it's not, it will be posted soon, but we do have Megan's information in the current most recent binder. And so she does have a group sessions. I believe it's all done virtually, but her focus is cancer and the emotions behind it, addressing fear, dealing with past traumas that might have contributed to a diagnosis. So emotions can be a very key component to a cancer diagnosis, and oftentimes can be the single thing that needs to be addressed in order for a person to get into the path of healing, to just kind of switch things, get the body into that right chemical soup of healing. Emotions can be a blocker, and if they're not addressed, can be a reason why somebody is not getting better. So absolutely addressing emotional roots. Her book that you mentioned, Braving the Storm, also has a workbook. So those are available on our website, so you can look those up. Again, the name of the book is Braving the Storm. You can buy just the book, or you can buy both the book and the workbook as a bundle and save a little bit of money. So those are options to kind of start to address some of the emotional roots of cancer. And everybody should do that and address that. And certainly for some people, it is the key missing piece because emotions are often overlooked. So great. Thank you for mentioning that. All right. Any other questions? So I have up here just the reminder, log into the patient membership site, use this as a resource, check in with it daily. As I mentioned, we're going to be updating the binder to the most recent one. So you'll want to take a look at that. Dr. Connors is adding things to this on a weekly basis, and still, we really want you guys to use this as your go-to source for everything. And this is the website here. The last couple of Zoom calls I had www. Somebody mentioned that when she typed that into her search bar, that wasn't coming up. So I apologize for that. This is a direct copy paste from the URL. So bookmark this page so you can access it frequently. All right, everyone. Well, that seems to be it on the chat, and that was all that came in through the forms. So I appreciate you guys sending in your questions. Hopefully, my answers have provided a little bit of direction. Hopefully, they have helped you gain a little bit of clarity. And remember that Dr. Connors is doing the Zoom call on Wednesday nights. So you certainly can send in some more questions for him. All right, everyone, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and you are very welcome. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. It's great that you guys are taking the time to do this. We appreciate that. Have a great day. Bye-bye.